Difficult to start before. Okay. So, good morning, my colleagues. Good afternoon, my fellow colleagues. Uh, Today we are going to discuss learning and experience curve. And before we go into details about learning and experience curve, we discovered that two things is involved here. We have learning curve and we also have experience curve. So, the theory under this learning and experience curve is that we have to look at the learning curve theory. And this learning curve theory is a mathematical model or tools. Is a mathematical model or what? Or tools that seek to relate the labor time and labor related cost of production. So that is the learning curve theory. I repeat, I say learning curve theory is a mathematical tools or model that seek to relate the labor time and labor related cost of production to the volume of production, So, learning curve theory now recognizes the fact that in the manufacturing sector, the labor time required to do a job, if I said the labor time to do a job, what I'm trying to insinuate here is that the labor time that you can use to perform, okay, let's use the word perform, to perform a job reduces with the number of time the job is performed. That's the theory. That's the learning curve theory. The labor time that you require to do a job will reduces. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sorry
Yeah,
too.
we are
Okay.
with you.
We reduce this with the number of time the job is what is performed. So the concept behind this learning curve, because there is a concept behind this learning curve, is that the CAT, CATT, the CAT is the acronym is that cumulative average time taking. We call it CAT, CATT. The concept behind this learning curve is that the cumulative average time taken per unit produced is assumed to fall. It will assume to reduce or to fall by a constant percentage every time the output is doubled. That is, every time the output is doubled, the time, the percentage time will fall. So that is the concept behind this learning curve. What this implies is that average time taken per unit fall, all unit produced to date fall by a constant percentage whenever cumulative output of a product is doubled. For instance, let's assume we have cumulative output to be, let's say, 1. The unit is 1. So whenever that 1 is double, meaning that 1 will become 2. Whenever it is double, the average time begins to do what? The cumulative average time will be what? Will be 4. What this implies is that, let me give you an instance. If you are maybe you learn handwork of maybe fashion designer, and you have to sew about maybe 15 clothes. The time that you are going to use for sewing, for the first sewing, let's assume it requires you to use 2 hours. The second sewing will not be up to 2 hours again, because the learning of what have taken place. That's what I mean by the learning curve. theory. Because the more you are sowing, the more you expert. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the theory about this learning curve. That is what I said. It implies that the average time taken per unit will fall. All in unit produced at the date fall by a constant percentage whenever the cumulative output of a product is what? Is doubled. So whenever it is doubled, then the average time will begin to fall. So let's use the illustration to back our explanation. If I want to use illustration to back my explanation, let's assume I'm having units to be 1, another unit 1. Let's assume I have 2, 4, 8, and probably 16. Then cumulative output, cumulative output, cumulative output, you know the cumulative, you have to repeat the first one, then the second cumulative, this one will become 2. You know it has started double, right? 2. What's going to be the next one? I said I want the class to be interactive, please. What's going to be the next one?
4.
4. Followed by what?
8.
8.
Followed by what?
16.
Followed by what?
32.
32.
32. Good. Now, then after that, I have what is called cut. What did I call cut that time?
Cumulative average time.
Average time taken.
Okay, good. Cumulative average time taken. This is my cut. Then I have cumulative total hour. Total hours. Then I say if I call this one A, I call this one B, then I call this one C, then my C will always be A times B. So let's now look it from this angle. Assume that it take 80% learning curve. Let's assumed 80% learning curve rate. We assume that. We only just want to assume that figure. And 400, let's say 400 hours represent the average time taking, used for the first batch. So if I say first batch, I mean the first one, that first unit. The average time taking for the first production, it is 400 hours. Are we there? Then, if you want to calculate the cumulative total hour, will now be what? A times B will be what? Hello? 400 hours. Okay, 400. That is total hour. Then, if I want to calculate the second one, it means that I said whenever the output is doubled, what will happen to cat? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
I said whenever the output is double, what will happen to CAT? What will happen to cumulative average time taking?
There will be a reduction in cumulative average time.
Yeah, there will be a reduction. Look at it, 1. So it means that when it's double here, there will be a what? A reduction. Are you with me? So if I want to check now, I will now say, since I have assumed 80% learning curve, I'll just say 400 multiplied by 80%. What do you have?
320.
320. You can see that whenever it's double, it will reduce. Then what is going to be my C?
640.
640. Now, if the output double again, what will happen? What should I put here? If output double again, it will be what? 320 multiplied by what? By 80%. What do you have?
256.
256.
256. So what's going to be my C?
1024.
1024, and so on, like that. That's how you apply it. You can see that this is what the theory is telling you. Then mathematically, because in some cases, if you are given a question that is not possible for you to use a table, what that one implies is that if the question given to you is not, the output is not possible for the output to double. Let's assume they are giving you 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, 32. Then after 32, the answer you should calculate 35. You know that 32, when you double 32, it becomes what? 64. They now ask you to calculate 35, meaning you cannot use table. The only thing for you to do is to apply mathematically. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Is to apply what? Mathematically. Then if you want to apply mathematically, then you have the formula is denoted as what? Y become a x raised to power b, where y become, are we there? Cumulative.
Yes, sir.
Y become, when y become cumulative, average time. Cumulative average time per unit. Where A becomes average time taken per unit of the first batch. Average time taken, average time taken, per unit of the first batch. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
where X becomes
Cumulative
good,
output in
where
unit
X become cumulative number of units.
or in batches.
Okay, cumulative number of units, cumulative number of units desired. Cumulative number of units desired all over number of units in the first batch. Number of units in the first batch. In the first batch. Where B become log of learning curve rate.
Over log of 2.
Okay, good. Log of learning curve rate all over log of 2. So if you look at, if I want to apply this formula in this example that I did here, my learning curve rate, it is 80% here. Then log of 2 is constant. You just put log 2 there. So let's now assume all these things that we did. Let's assume I want to calculate the CAT for cumulative output of 2. Are we there? We want to check whether the formula can also work for the analysis that we did there. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, let's now apply the formula. Let's assume I want to calculate the cumulative output of this place, these 2. Then to get our y represent CAT here. This is CAT here. You can say, I say y is what? Cumulative average time. And which is the meaning of CAT, cumulative average time taken. Then, therefore, let me calculate it now. Y become, what is my A? A is
400.
what? Average time taken per unit of the first batch. So what is the average time taken for the first batch? 400. You can see
100 hours.
400. Is it cleared? 400 multiplied by X. What is my X? Cumulative
2.
number of units. Cumulative number of what? Hello?
Number of unit desire.
Desire. So what I mean by number of unit desired is that the unit that you want to calculate, you know, we said we want to calculate the cumulative output for these 2. That is your desire. That's what I mean by desire. Then you now say 2 all over, what is the number of units in the first batch? What is the number of units in the first batch? 1.
1.
Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. To raise to power B. B means log of learning curve rate, which is what? Log
80.
80%. 80% means 0.8.
0.8.
All over what? Log 2.
Log of 2.
So mathematician, please help us to calculate. Then when you calculate, what you are going to do is that you have to do from this place first. Whatever you get, multiply with 400. What you are going to get must be the same thing as 320. So that's when you use the formula. What do you have? I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Y is equals to 320.
320, good. 320. So this is your cumulative average time. So let's assume I want to do a desire of cumulative output of 4. Let's do it together. What will I do? Y is equal to what?
400.
400. I said I want everybody to participate. 400, okay?
Multiply by 4 all over 2.
Is it 4 all over 2 or 4 all over 1?
Sorry, 4 over 1.
4 over 1. Because 4 is your desire now.
Yeah, yes.
The number of the unit in the first batch is 1. It
1.
depends on whatever they put in the first batch here. Okay? Log 0.8 all over what? Log 2. So what is our Y?
Y is equals to 256.
You said what?
Y is equals to 256.
Okay. Is it the same with our table?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is how you apply it mathematically. So, and let's proceed. Hope we are getting it. Hope we are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's continue. So, another thing that we also need to do is that, what's it called? Let's try another examples and then let's see how it works. Example 2. We are still going to a tough area. Please, that is what I said. Just understand the concept before we get to the area that is wet, very tough. Because those area is what we are expecting from the exam. So, online class, you can jot it down. Online class, has started. Online class has started the production of a new plant. Okay, of a new plant. Okay, of a new product. Of a new product. The management accountant has recorded. The management accountant has recorded the following output. And the related cost. Related cost labor hour. related cost labor hour, total time, are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Total
sir.
time for the first batch, total time for the first batch is 800 units. It takes 56,000 hours. Total time for the next batch eight 800 units. It takes 44,800 hours. Total time for the next batch is 1,600 units. It takes 80,640 hours. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
It's only one person that is answering me.
Yes, sir. We are following.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. The management accountant is now planning for the first quarter of the current year, which is January to March. January to March. That is first quarter. January to March. It is estimated.
Yeah.
It is estimated January to March. It is estimated that the production in each of the months will be as follows. January, February, March. For January let's say 3,200 units. February, 6,400 units. In it, March, 12,800 units. Required. Are we there? 1. Determine the learning curve. 2. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Calculate the 3 months of January. Calculate the total labor hour needed for each month, for each of the 3 months, January to March. Thank you. So are we set?
Yes, sir.
Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So look at the question. Who will help us to read it, and let's underline every necessary thing. Who will help us to read this question? One person should volunteer, and let's do it on time.
Okay. Online class has started the production of a new product. The management accountant has recorded the following outputs and the related cost labor hour. The total time for the first batch is 800 units. It takes 56,000 hours. The total time for the next batch is 800 units. It takes 44,800 hours. I can't see the screen again. I can't see the screen again.
Hello, you can continue.
Okay, I can see the screen again, sir.
Oh, I think I'm sorry. I just connected back with my phone. That laptop just shut down, but I want it back. I don't know what happened. I was thinking that you guys jot it down, then you can continue from there. So no problem.
Okay. So let me continue from my notes then.
You can continue from your note, no problem. Why connecting back my laptop?
All right, sir. So the total time for the next batch is 1,600 units. It takes 80,640 hours. The management accountant is now planning for the first quarter of the current year, which is January to March. It is estimated that the production in each of the months will be as follows. For January, we have 3,200 units. For February, we have 6,400 units. And March, we have 12,800 units. So required, number 1, determine the learning curve. Number 2, calculate the total labor hours needed. for each of the 3 months of January to March.
Hello, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm just looking for the document I work with just now. This thing is, I'm not sure I saved this. Okay, thank God. I think it's this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me save it once. So, oh, okay, no problem. I think the thing is not, that's the last time I save it. So can you recap? Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just recap the reading because I think it's not safe, but we can start solving it. If let me confirm from others. Hope we all have the question with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can read it again. Then let me just start because I don't have it here again. So read it.
Okay, sir. So online class has started the production of a new product. The management accountant has recorded the following outputs and the related cost labor hour. Total time for the first batch is 800 units. It takes 50,000 hours. While total time for the next batch is 800 units. It takes 44,800 hours. Then total time for the next batch is 1,600 units. It takes 80,640 hours. The management accountant is now planning for the first quarter of the current year, which is January to March. It is estimated that the product in each of the months will be as follows. For January, we have 3,200 units. For February, 6,400 units. And March, 12,800 units. Required, it says 1. Determine the learning curve. While 2 says calculate the total labor hours needed for each of the 3 months of January to March.
Okay, God bless you. So if you look at this question very well, you will discover that we are not given a learning rate, which is the maybe the percentage, the way we explain the first one that we assume the learning curve to be 80%, right? Here they are not giving it to us. That is why the question A part says we should do what? We should calculate the learning curve. So that learning curve they are talking about in one part, and number one part is to calculate the learning curve rate. Is that understood? Hello.
Yes, it is, sir.
So number one thing is to determine determination of what? Learning rates. We want to determine the learning rate. And as a result of that, we are already given the quantity, that is the time, the total time for the first 800 units. So that's the quantity given to us, 800. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
After 800, what's the next one again? The next 800
800.
followed by what? 1006.
600.
Okay. And if you remember my explanation in the first one, when you have the unit, what's the next one? I have what is called cumulative, right? Okay, let me put unit so that units, and I have what? Cumulative unit. So let's do it together. What's going to be here as my cumulative unit?
800.
800. That is, I will repeat the 800. What's going to be the next one?
1006.
16.
16. What's going to be here?
3002.
3002. Then after that, I will put what? If you remember, CAT, which is cumulative average time taken, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Cumulative average time taken, which is CAT. Then after that, I will put what? Total what? Cumulative cumulative hour. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Now, so if you look at this question, when you are given 800 units, we are told that 800 units use how many hours? 56,000 hours. So that 56,000 hours is already your total cumulative hour. They are not giving you the CAT. The CAT is the average cumulative average time taken. Then
56 or 50.
you say what? Shall I move on or any question? Shall I move on?
Yes, let's continue.
Okay, I think one person raised hand. Okay, nobody. So then, if I want to get my CAT here, don't forget in my previous explanation, I said to get this cumulative hour, it is 8 times B, right? Then if B is missing, look at this place now. B is missing. How will I get B? Because you said to get C, which is cumulative hour, it is 8 times B. Then if B is missing, how will you get it? Let's assume this B is missing here. How will I do it? I will say C divided by what? Divided by A. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
You know, if I want to get C, I will say 8 times B. And if B is missing, let's assume it is B that I want to get. What will you do? You divide both sides by what? By B, by A. You divide both sides by A. Let's assume it is B that I want to get. I divide both sides by A. You can see A cancel A. B will now become C over A. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what is going to be my CAT here?
70.
70. Then we now move on. When the output doubled to 1,600, it means that the total cumulative hour that we have here will also add up to the next one, because for total time for the next 800 units, 44,800. Then you have to add, so far the 800 is double to 16. So you have to add the hour of this one with the second one. So it now be 56,000 plus that 44,800. What do you have?
100,800.
100,800. 100,800. So if I want to get my cat, what will I do? I will divide. You have what?
63.
Okay, I will have 63. Okay. Am I talking to one person? Hello?
Please, I don't understand what you are doing. No. You don't understand.
Yeah, not we don't. Not we don't.
Okay,
The
no, I
question
don't
has to
understand.
okay. Where is that?
Why you calculated that cumulative average time, and this your 100,800.
I didn't calculate cumulative average time. It was given in that question that what was it? The total time for the first 800 units is 56,000 hours. That is, it's
That
used 56,000 hours. Huh? Hello?
I said I mean this cat, the 70 and 63.
Okay.
Don't
When I
understand.
did my first explanation here, I said if I want to get cumulative total hour, it is A times B. Then let's assume it is B that you want to do. Then it will be C divided by A. So it means that if I want to get this place, I will say 800 times 70 to give me 56. But if I want to get, let's assume it is this cat that is not there, it is missing. How will you get it? 56,000 divided by 800. Is it clear now?
Okay. How do you now calculate that 100,800?
Okay. So when this 800 now doubled, which is cumulative unit, when it's doubled to 1.6, it means that the hour that the second 800 will use, which is a 44,800 in the question, you add it to that 56, the first one we use. So that 44,800 plus this 56 will give you this 100,800. Can we continue?
Okay, go on.
So the third one, when that 1,600 is double to 1,000 to 32, then what will happen to our cumulative? Then this 100, 800 we add up to the next one. We add up to 80,640. What do you have?
181 440.
181
440.
440. Then what's going to be my cut? We now be 181 440 divided by 3,002.
56.7.
56.7. Any question before
Yes, sorry, I have
we
a
move
question.
on?
Please, the 44,800, how do you get the
Okay, go ahead.
44,800 that you used to add?
Okay, that 44,800 is in our question. Hope you are with the question. Because I think I typed the question, but because I didn't save, my laptop shut down. So I'm unable to recover the question. But for those of you that jot it down, that's what I said. If you jot it down, what's it called? You have it. But if you don't have it, I will just beg the people that jot it down to just snap it and send it to the group, please.
Okay, thank you.
So I think you have the question because you will see it from there. Total time for the first batch 800 units, we use 56,000 hours. Total time for the next 800 units, we use 44,800 hours. Total time for the next 1,600 units, we use 80,640 hours. Can we continue? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So If we are to continue, then don't forget it is the learning rate that we want to calculate. Because they are not giving us the learning rate, it is the learning rate that we are trying to calculate. Then we need to know the level of percentage that reduce. It means that if I show you the first one that we did, I assume 80% as learning curve rate. It means that 20% is reduced. It means that it is 20% that they reduce. Let us confirm it. You know that it is 20% that they reduce. 400. Hope you are with your calculator. I said I want full participation. Let's check. If I assume 80%, it means that 20% that reduced. 400 minus 320. What do you have?
80.
80.
80. You now say 80 divided by that 400, which is the initial one. Then multiply by 100. So how many percent do you have here?
20%.
20%.
20%. You can see 20%. Check from the 320 to 256. It will be the same thing. 320 minus 256. What do you have?
64.
64 divided by original one, which is the 320. Multiply by 100.
20.
20%. You can see it is 20% that is reduced. So if 20% is reduced, it means that the learning curve rate it is 80%. So it's the same thing that we are going to do here. Let us know the percentage reduction. Percentage reduction. If we know the percentage reduction, then we now get our what? Our learning, what's it called? Our what's it called? Learning curve rate that, yeah, the learning curve rate that applies. So now, oh yeah, let's go on. The first one is dash. Oh yeah, 70 minus 63. What do you have?
7.
7 divided by what? By 70.
Divided by 70.
Times 100.
Times 100.
What do you have? 10%.
10.
So if okay, let's do the second one. 63 and then 56.7. That one we also give you 10%, but calculate it.
Yes, 6.3 over 63 times 100.
10 is
Times
also
100. 10%. So if God bless you. So if it is 10%, so what is the question I ask you? Question asks you to determine the learning rate. So what's going to be the learning rate now?
90%.
God bless you. Therefore,
Okay, 100
the
minus
learning
10.
rate,
100
the
minus
learning
20.
rate, okay, the learning rate that applies,
70.
the learning rate implies
100.
100, Abi?
Yes.
100% minus that 10%.
Yes, we give us 90%.
Will now be what? 90%. So that's what the question asks us to do there in that one. What's it called? Number 1 part. Any question?
Sir, please, I wanted to ask, is it the only cumulative average time, the cards that we are going to be using for that?
To get our, what's it called?
Percentage
To get our what?
reduction. Percentage reduction.
That's the best idea. There's no, because you are applying it on the, what's it called? On the cumulative hour. Are you getting it? You are applying it on the cumulative average time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So hope you are good to go. Any question? If you have question, ask your question now before we move to 2 aspects of it. Do we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the second aspect of it is that we should calculate the total labor hour needed for each of the 3 months of January to what? To March. January to what? To March. Hello.
I have question. So
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
So this is, after adding the second one, what happened to the third one now? Don't you calculate the third one?
Which one are we adding? We've already had. You mean the total cumulative hour? You know, the first one is 56. The second one is 44,800. So we now add that 44,800 to 56 to get 100,800. So the next one is 80,640. So we already add 80,640 to this one to get 181,440.
Can you hear me?
You said what? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Should we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So then, calculate the total labor hour needed. The number of hour needed for January to March will now be needed for January to March will now be units, cumulative, units, cards, which is a cumulative average time, total cumulative hour. I'm shortening it, so you can write it in full. Total cumulative hour and the incremental hour. So for units, we have what's it called? 800, followed by 800, followed by what? 1,006, followed by what again? 3,002, followed by what again? 6,004, followed by what again? 12,800. I think it stopped at 12,800. Then
Yes,
cumulative,
sir.
let's do it together. What's going to be here?
800.
800.
800, okay, followed by
1,006.
1,600.
followed by
6,200.
3,200, followed by
6,400.
6,400, followed by
12,800.
12,800.
12,800, followed by
25,600.
25,600. God bless you all. Then our cat is, so we've already calculated our cat here. It means that the average time used in the first batch is what? 70. Okay?
Yes.
Followed by what?
63.
63. God bless you all. 63. Followed by, okay?
56.7.
56.7. Followed by, I think you understand it now, because you already got your learning curve to be 90%. Then how will you calculate this one?
This times
90%.
Okay, this one 90% times 56.7,
56.7.
right?
Yes.
God bless you.
We have
Because that's what we did
51.03.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we did here.
51.03.
To get the next one, you have to be using it to multiply it. You guys are too much. What do you call it?
51.03.
51.03.
51.03. Okay, followed by
45.93.
45.93.
0.03.
93.
45 point, what do you call it?
93.
93. Followed by
37.20.
37.2. You guys are too much. So that is how, because since we already got your learning curve to be 90%, there is no issue. 90% of 70 will be 63. 90% of 63 will be next one. 90% of this will be next one. 90% of this will be next one. So, and this one will now be TCH.
Last one, sorry, 41.3.
Yes, 41 point something.
Okay, 41.
41.33.
41.33. Okay,
Yes.
no problem.
Okay.
So, TCH. What's the acronym that I use? TCH is what?
Total cumulative hour.
Okay, total cumulative hour is what? A times B. Abi, what did I use?
Yes, it is A times B.
Okay, I use alphabet now. A times B. I
Yes.
said this one is A, this one is B. Then to get this one will be A times B. 800 times 70 will give me this.
56,000.
56,000.
56,000.
56,000. Okay. Go ahead.
100,800.
100,800. Go ahead.
181,440.
181,440. Go ahead.
326,592.
Yes.
26592.
592. Go ahead.
587,904.
587,904. Go ahead.
1,058,048. 1058. 1058,048.
Okay, so we want to look at the incremental now. So the incremental is that from here, I can put, don't worry, this one is I can put dash. Then the incremental hour means between this one and this one. What is the incremental?
44,800.
44,800. That's what they mean by incremental. So the next one between this and this, what is the incremental?
8640.
8640. 8640. Between this and the next one, what is the incremental?
145,152.
145, 152.
Yes.
Between this and this, what is the incremental?
261,312.
Yes.
261,312. Between this and this, what is the incremental?
470,144.
Forward.
Yes.
470.
470,144.
144.
So that's what I mean by the what's it called? Incremental.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So now, so the question the examiner is asking us is that calculate the total labor hour needed for each of the 3 months. So if you want to calculate the total hour needed for each of the 3 months, will now be, you know, if you look at the January to March, start from here now. If you look at the question, January is 3.2, February is 6.4, and March is 12.8 from the question.
Yes, sir.
So this is for hour needed now. January hour needed will now be what? This is January. This one is what? February. And this one is what? March. That's all. But you just write it out. Like January. You can say hour needed. Hour needed for January will be, you can call the figure for me. 32. Call the figure.
152.
Hello.
145,
152.
145, 152 hours. Hour needed for February.
261,
312.
Hour needed for February will be
261, 312.
Will be 261, 312. Hour needed for March.
470144.
470 144. So that's the that's the requirement. That's the requirement. So I think you can use formula as well. I've explained the formula. You can use formula to arrive the cat as well. Any question on that? Mathematical formula. I think I explained it to arrive at cat.
Yes.
What I did here. Y is equal to ax raised to power b, and I said where y is your cumulative average time, y is your cat in the table. A represent average time taken per unit of the first batch. X represent cumulative number of unit desire divided by number of units in the first batch. B represent log of learning curve rate all over log 2. When you apply the formula as well, you get all this cat that is here. Should we try the last one? When the output double to 25,600, should we try whether we are going to get 41.33?
Yes,
let's
sir.
try that. So if we want to try that, we say y become a. What is my a? What's the meaning of my a? If you remember, I said a is what? Average time taken per unit of the first batch. So what's the average time taken of the first batch? The first batch, this is the first batch. So what's the average time taken? 70. Is it clear? Multiply by x. Hello?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes, sir.
And what is the S? What did I mention as S?
That's cumulative number of units desire.
Cumulative number of unit desire all over number of units in the first batch. So the number of unit desire, it is the last one that we said we want to check.
Yes.
This is the cumulative that we want to check. So let's assume you want to check here. This one will be your desire. Let's assume you want to check here. It will be your desire. Let's assume you want to check here. It will be your desire. Let's assume you want to check A to B or desire. Let's assume you want to check A to B or desire. But me, I said I want to check the last one. So the cumulative cumulative number of units desire, it is what? 25,600 all over number of units in the first batch. What's the number of units in the first batch? 800.
800.
Close the bracket. Raised to power what? Log of what? 90. Because our learning curve we already got 90. Log of 90%, which is 0.9. 0.9 divided by log 2. Log of 2. So whatever you are going to get is your y, and your y represent cat. You must get this 41.33 if you calculate it very well. 41.33. Because me, I want to check the last one. But let us only you want to check second to the last, you must get 45.93. So what do you have?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. So any question before we move on?
Okay, please, are we recording?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
You are welcome. So any question before we move on?
No.
Okay. Any question, others? Before we move on. Should we move on? I didn't see any response though. Any question?
Let's move on, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's move on.
Okay. So another thing that we also need to look at is that of a condition for the use of learning curve. Condition. What are the conditions? Condition for the use of learning curve. What are the conditions for the use of what? Learning curve. Number one condition is that number one condition for the use of learning curve is that the production should be labor intensive. Production
should be labor intensive. There's no
the production should be labor intensive. That's number one condition. The production should be what? Labor intensive. Another thing that we can think of under the condition of the use of the learning curve is that what is it called? There must be very low labor turnover. There must be very low labor turnover. Labor turnover. There must be very low labor turnover. Another thing is that operative must be highly motivated. Operative. If I say operative, what I'm trying to explain here is that the workers, that's what I mean. The labor must be highly motivated. We said operative, or let's say labor must be highly motivated. Operative or labor must be what? Highly motivated. Another condition for the use of learning curve is that of the extensive break. That break between, because if there's a idle time, if there's a too much break, are you with me? If there's a too much break, the labor, what's it called? All the workers, we forget the experience they got, And as a result of this, the learning process will have to begin all over again. Are you getting it now? So if the extensive break between production, hello, are we there?
Yes.
The extensive break between production of items must not be what? Must not be too long. Must not be too long. So if the break is too much, the workers will forget the experience. Do you get it now? They will forget whatever the experience they acquire. And as a result of this, you know, if I'm trying to teach you something and I give you too much break, you forget. You will not remember all. So as a result of this, I have to come back again and we start all over again. So that's why we said extensive break between production of item must not be too long. Is it clear? Hello? Hello?
It's clear, sir. It's clear, it's clear.
So another thing is let's think of the application of learning curve. Number one application of learning curve is that it's good for planning. That's the application for planning purpose. For planning, for decision making. That one is there. Application for learning curve. You can say for the purpose of planning, for the purpose of decision making, for production scheduling. It's good, also good for production scheduling. If you want to schedule your production, for production scheduling, and you can also use it for what's it called, flexible budgeting. Flexible budgeting. We can use it for computation of standard costing. Computation of standard cost. We can also use it for what's it called? Manpower. Manpower planning, requirement planning. Manpower requirement planning. So this is the application of what? Learning curve. So the learning curve is good for planning. The learning curve is good for decision making. So this is the area that you can apply them. It's for production scheduling. You can also apply them in the flexible budgeting. You can also apply them in terms of computation of standard costing. You can also apply them in the manpower requirement planning. Are we there? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So after that,
Yeah.
okay, after that, we now talk of the experience curve. You know, I said from the beginning of this class, I said two things are involved. We have learning curve and experience curve. So let's talk about the word experience curve. Are we tired? No.
No, sir.
Experience curve. What is the tomorrow class? What time is the tomorrow class? Who can check the timetable for us? What time?
Okay. Hold on, sir.
So help us to check so that I will.
Three to 4:30.
3 to 4:30. Good. So I'm sharing something to the group now. So we are going to address the question that tomorrow. I'm sharing it now. We address it tomorrow. So that is why I'm asking for the time. You all see it now. I believe it's dropped. This is what we are going to work on. So if you look at that question, this is an examinable question. This is examinable question. When you see this question as a compulsory question, it requires 30 marks. So this is examinable question. So what we just did is for us to just get the basic knowledge of what learning and experience curve is all about. Have you opened the question? Then you can try and read it on your own. Then tomorrow we are going to do justice to it. Then I believe that by that tomorrow you have read certain things and there's some information that I'll be asking you. It will not be new to you. That's why I'm sending it earlier to you, please. So I said this class will be rounded up by, is it not 2, Abi? So the remaining 30 minutes, let's talk about this experience curve. So if I said experience curve, it's very similar to the learning curve, just that the learning curve deal with only with labor hours. Just take note of that. Experience curve is similar to that learning curve, just that the learning curve deal with only with labor hours. So you have to take note of certain things. I said experience curve is similar to learning curve, just that the learning curve is deal with what? Only labor hour. Labor hour. And as a result of that, labor cost reducing by a set of percentage. The labor cost will be reducing by what? Set of percentage.
Set of percentage.
Are you getting it now? Because I said experience curve is similar to what? Learning curve. Just that learning curve that we are discussing things is only deal with what? With the labor hours. And as a result of that, because it's only deal with the labor hour, as a result of that, the labor cost will be what? Will be reducing by a set percentage. Will be reducing by a set percentage. Are you getting it now? But in the case of experience curve that I want to discuss now, in the case of experience curve, the experience curve covers all costs. It covers all costs. And yet, they are very similar in percentage terms to learning curve. You can see, that's what I say in the first instance, I said they are similar. Just that the experience curve will cover all costs, and yet they are very similar again in percentage terms to learning curve. In the experience curve, it is not just labor cost per unit that will decrease. You can see that in that experience curve, it is not only labor cost per unit that would decrease as output of a new product increases. As output increases, it is not only the labor cost that will decreases under experience curve. Are we together?
Yes.
So, the possible savings from increased output, the possible savings for increased output will what's it called? We include materials consumption. So this material consumption per unit will tend to fall as wastage decreases. So if wastage now decreases, the material consumption will fall. That's number one. Number two is that the material purchase price will go down if there is too much discount. Number three is that the scrap rate will also decreases. Another thing is that what's it called? Distribution cost will also fall. Another thing is that the what's it called? There is something capacity will be more fully utilized as volume increases. So this is the scenario, the possible savings from increased output under experience curve. Is that understood?
Yes.
Okay, let's now use illustration or example to back up our explanation under experience curve. You can take this down. Online class has recently as recently opened a new plant output. In the first month was a new plant output in the first month was okay, let me say 2,000 units. 2,000 units, and the cost was 800,000 naira. 800,000 naira. Are we there? Planned output. I didn't get a response though. Planned output in. Am I still on the track?
Yes, sir. We are with you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Planned output in the first batch is 32,000 units. The company the company expects to achieve a 95% cost, 95% cost experience curve, required one, forecast the total cost for the new plant in its first batch. In its first year of operation. First year of operation. Two, forecast the total cost for the second year of operation if the output is remains at 32,000 units per year. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
So, can we suspend it to tomorrow and start with it before we deal with the one I shared across, or we should do this one now?
Let's do this one now.
Okay. So someone should read it for us. So let's manage this. Let me see my device percentage. I'll just 23%.
Okay. Online classes.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Online class has recently opened a new plant. Output in the first month was 2,000 units, and the cost was 800,000. Planned output in the first batch is 32,000 units. The company expects to achieve a 95% cost experience curve required. Forecast the total.
Hello. Can you hear again? Another person should continue from where she stopped. I can't hear her again.
Okay, forecast the total cost plans in its first year of operation.
Cost for the new plant in the first year of
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's my network.
I can't hear again, but you can hear me.
Okay. Sorry, I think it was my network. First one requires
Okay.
forecast the total cost for the new plant operation. The second one says forecast the total cost for the second year of operation. Remains at 32,000 units per year. Please, can we hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Good.
Okay.
No problem. So now, given a question like this that we want to forecast the total cost for the new plan in the first year of operation, what we are going to do is that we have to calculate the CAT. Whatever we get as our CAT, then we can now multiply with the plan output in the first year, because the question states forecast the total cost for the new plant in the first year of operation, and the output, the plan output in the first year of operation is 32,000. So how much are they going to use, the cost that will cost them for this plan output of 32,000? Then we have to calculate the what? The CAT. So that CAT is our cumulative average time taken for that 32,000. Then when we now get the cumulative average time taken, then we now multiply with what? With the output plan, so that we can get the total cost. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So then let's begin. So this one now, you can see that they said output in the first month was 2,000 units. You can decide to use table, then you can also decide to use formula, whichever one you decide. So we will be using table since, because this one can double now. Up 2, the next one of 2,000, the next one is what? If you are doubling it, if the first one is 2,000, the next one is what?
4,000.
Followed by
6,000.
8. You are double.
8,000.
Followed by
16,000.
Followed by
32,000.
You can see 32,000. The plan output. This means that we can use table. So I said when the activities can be doubled, you can use table. But if the activities cannot be doubled, then you can use formula. But we can use formula to calculate all. So let's use formula this time around. AX raised to power what? B. And our Y represent CAT. Yes. Then Y, let's calculate our CAT. A is what? What's going to be A?
800,000.
800,000. And what's the meaning of A? That's what I mean.
Average time taken.
The average time taken. So if your average time taken is what's it called? How will you get your average time taken? Because you are not given the average time taken yet.
Divided.
They are not telling you that this is the average time, right? Taking. But how will you get your average time taken here? So A become. So what's the cost of using this output of 2,000? What's the cost?
800,000.
800,000
divided by
2,000.
No, 2,000. Yes.
So what do you have?
We have 400.
We have 400. So 400 is our average time taken, which is A. Is it clear? Because they are not giving us. It's different from the one that we did the last time. Do you get it now? So since they are not giving you, you have to divide it, like what I explained the last time. Then multiply by, what is X? Who will remind us? X is what?
Cumulative number of units desired divided by
So
number
what is
of
our cumulative number of unit desire?
32,000.
32,000. God bless you. You guys are too much. 32,000, because that is the plan. At 2,000. All over what?
number of units.
All over 2,000.
Number of units in the first batch, 2,000. Then, what's the learning experience?
95%.
95% is 0.95. All over what? Log
2.
Log 2. So what is our cut? What's our cut?
$325.80.
Hope is correct. Others should confirm. 3
Yes, it is, sir. 325.8.
325.80. So this is our cut, which is a cumulative average time taken. So if you use table as well, you get it. Then the question answer forecast the total cost. Question 1 now. We want to get our total cost. Total cost will be equal to, I've explained this one, 32,000 multiplied by what? 325.80. So what do you have? Whatever you get is your what? Your total cost.
$10 million for
425,600.
yes.
10 million
425,600.
425,600. 600. So number 2. So what happened in that number 2? They said forecast the total cost for the second year of operation. So if you are to forecast the total cost for the second year of operation, it means that the cumulative output to the end of the year 2, cumulative output to the end of year 2, at the end of year 2 will be equal to 32,000 times 2. So the cumulative will now be 64. So we are working on 64,000 units now. Hope is cleared.
Yes.
So we are working on what? 64,000 units now. Are we making sense? Hello.
We are with you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if it's like that, then what will now happen to this cat? You know, this one will also come down by 90%, 95% learning curve.
Yes.
So yeah.
So we multiply it by 325%.
So total cost at the end of the year 2 will be what?
64,000.
Hope you are getting this. Total cost will be 64,000 multiplied by the cat. You can use the formula. You discover that that cat will not be this one again now because you are working. You know the first one. The first one we make use of 32,000, but this time around we'll be using 64. Well, so what's your cat?
309.51.
309.51. How do you do it? Do you make use of the formula or you just use this 325.8 multiplied by 95%? You know, if you are not using formula, if you use it by 95%, the definitely will be the same. So even though if you use 95%, it's still the same thing. If you are reducing this by 95%, 95% of 325.8, we have 309.51. Still the same thing. I think you know now by using table like this, you know, whatever you get here to get the next one, you have to multiply with the learning rate. It's the same thing here. It's either you make use of the formula again to get it. It's either you make use of the formula instead of putting 32 here, 32,000 here, you put 64,000 because of the year 2. Or if you don't want to use formula, this answer, just multiply with what? 95%. You get it. So what do you have?
19,808,640.
19,000,000.
808. 640.
640. So this is for second year. So let's check the incremental. So what's going to be our incremental? I know you know that. What's going to be our incremental? I've explained this before. Incremental will now be what? This year 2, which is 19,808, 640 minus what?
64.
No. 10 million.
10,425,600.
425,600. 600. So that's your incremental. What do you have?
9,000,000.
9,000,000.
383.
383.
040.
040. So this is your incremental cost. So if you don't want to check your incremental cost like this, you can also check it from the cat. So what is the cat as at 32? What is the cat? What is the cat as at 32? Let's see. 325.80 minus what is the cat as at 64?
309.51.
So what is the difference? What's the difference?
6.29.
16.29. 16.29. Then multiply by what is the incremental in that unit? You know 32, 64. What is the difference? The same 32. Multiply it. You must get same thing. What do you have?
5, 2, and 3.
Check it where.
It's 5, 2, and 3.
No, 64. Oh, sorry. It's not that one that I'm calculating. So I'm calculating the incremental hour. Incremental hour on what's it called? Incremental hour. So this one will not work. This one is incremental hour on the output. So it will not work. It is the incremental cost I got. But what I'm doing now is the incremental hour. So this is the incremental cost. So hope is cleared.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any question? Hello? Any question? Are we there?
Yes, sir.
So any question before we call it a day? This is exactly 2.
Okay, please. I don't know if you can do a quick recap for question 1. How we got the 90%? How we got the learning rate?